utter panic and fear in the markets today. So what does the old saying say about that? Buy when there's blood in the streets, even if it's your blood. Or when other people get fearful, I get greedy. And when other people are greedy, I get fearful. So we're having this temporary, some are saying bear market. I call it a retracement. But if someone wants to call it a mini bear market, I'm not going to dispute that. Fine. That, probably we have a couple months of sideways trading with lots of pullbacks, might even go below the 30,000 price marker for Bitcoin. That's all right if it does. Fantastic. Create some great buying opportunities. I'll share with you why I don't think this bull market is over. So with that said, I'm pursuing courses of research setting up for a future bull market, which I think is coming in the coming months. Now, who knows? I could be wrong. I'm not always right. I'm just often right enough that it's led to amazing returns for me. Why? Well, I've been around since 2017 in crypto. I've been investing for a long time. So even when it turned against me because I didn't know anything about the cycles in crypto yet, and I got burned really hard in 2018 because I didn't take any profits near the top, I learned some very valuable lessons, and I really went into research for the next few years, which kept me in the crypto space. And unlike many who bailed and left the space when it was down, I realized that it was the best time ever to buy, and I began buying like crazy. Now, I still continue to learn and grow myself, and that's what bear markets are amazing for. Now, the hard thing about bull markets is some of the momentum sometimes happens so fast, you get very little time to really broaden your understanding of investing in general and deepen your understanding on which projects, why some outperform others. So I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts. I'm going to bring to you today a project that will be coming soon. I don't have information on when it's going to launch or where it's going to launch, but I'm going to share with you why this is one of the hottest projects coming out within the coming months. So let's get started overall on the market. Let me pull up some charts. Oh, you got a preview of what project I'm going to be talking about, and I'll share with you why. First of all, this is our peak at 2017, and I'd like to get a lot of historical perspective. And then we had this long bear market, and we had some weird thing in the middle here. Now, this doesn't normally happen. In fact, it went from its lows at 3,600 right in the middle of the bear market to almost 14,000, and then retraced, actually touching right near those lows. Well, what is this big blip here? Well, this big blip here was caused by some weird pumping going on out of China, led mostly by a really big pyramid scheme. I think it was called the One Chain. But because I don't speak Chinese, I wasn't that in touch with it. And so here, as it was going way up early, I didn't know what was happening. And I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. It's going much too steep, too early. Wouldn't you know? That was then followed by another big retracement because it was too steep, too early. Enter us in the bull market here. So this actually is abnormal, how high, how soon it went. And so what happens when you go too high, too soon in the bull market? Well, a big retracement. Does that mean the bull market is over? No, these swings usually happen over bigger periods. Just like this did not mean the bear market was over, even though this was caused by some unusual pumping, and it was pumping too much too early, followed by then a big retracement. What in the world do you think we're seeing here? My opinion, it's the exact same freaking thing. Now, this isn't necessarily created by a pyramid scheme as this one was out of China, which led a bunch of people to buy Bitcoin that they were putting into this pyramid scheme, and eventually it all collapsed and crumbled. This was by some part of this created by some sentiment created by Elon Musk that got a lot of the Robinhood crowd into buying Bitcoin. And that's okay, but what happens when people throw their money into this? It creates this compounding returns in that, oh my gosh, it's pumping, so a lot of people FOMO in because they don't want to miss out, and they FOMO in, bam, you get this nice rounded top here, and what happens after the nice rounded top? Well, you see a nice retracement, right? And so these people that were buying in up here that were FOMOing in, guess what? They're fear of going to zero, selling here, and it brings it down farther than it should. And this is no exception. This is exactly what's happening, in my opinion, again. And so this is normal. So I know some people out there disagree with me. I do always set aside room that maybe I'm not right. I'm just often right, very often right on these things, just not always right. And I get that. I want to share with you also why I keep thinking about what's going to happen later this month or later this year in the bull market. Now, there were some projects that had extraordinary returns, 300x, 400x, 500x, 1000x. And so though I wasn't around in 2016 to early 2017, so I didn't get those kind of returns, and I didn't know anything about identifying the type of projects that could have those returns. It's heavy on my mind, especially during this big retracement where a lot of the money kind of flows out of the market for a little bit, and you really have time to analyze and make better buys. What I hate about a market that's so hot is you almost have to throw money at anything that moves, or you feel tempted to throw money at anything that moves, and you don't get to make smarter, more informed decisions because everything's moving up. And so this is a great time to really increase my research when it's retracing and going sideways. I want to share with you some more of that research. So this was Icon, and Icon was one of the projects that had the biggest increases overall. Now, unfortunately, it's not showing us here exactly where this went, but I am going to try to zoom in and see if I can get a price on there. It's not telling me what the price is. Okay, there we go. So 47 cents. Now it ICO'd, I think, in the couple cents range. Went all the way to $12 and then a big retracement. So I'm asking myself, what is out there that's going to pump like Icon did? Now Icon was a fairly new project, and it was billed as the Ethereum for Korea. And like, so the smart contracts and everything coming out of Korea, and it pumped absolutely amazing numbers until all of a sudden it didn't. But I asked myself, what has a chance to do these kind of numbers in this market? Well, I'm going to share with you another one that pumped tremendously, and this was Tron. Now, I've never been a big believer in Tron, but there's some people that made lots and lots of money from Tron by identifying it. They actually were developing some good technology, really good at marketing, but once the team made it absolutely rich, it seemed like they took their foot off the gas completely, and I'm not aware of much that they've been doing since making it completely rich at this point. So I don't even know what the ICO price was, but it was even below this, and think about this as a fraction of a cent. At some points, 0.2 cents. And it went all the way up to over 20 cents. So fantastic returns, and that wasn't even from the ICO. Now, sometimes we have opportunities to get in at, say, an IDO this time around, if we're really lucky, a pre-sale, which I just covered Audit Chain, and there is a pre-sale that you all have a better chance of getting in on than most IDOs and pre-sales, because they will be launching it themselves, and that will be coming up. As I get more news on that, clearly I'll share that with you. So Tron pumped tremendously, and then all of a sudden it didn't, as it entered the bear market, right? And so this parabolic move, now this is where people make crazy wealth within a cycle, and I do believe we'll probably have some of these coming later this year. And so what I'm doing is my research that will lead me to some of these projects, and some of that research has led me to this project. Now, I'm a big fan of Launchpads. Now, what I hate about Launchpads is that you have to hold their token in order to be eligible, and I get it, it's just part of the deal. Wish it wasn't that way, but they have to have some kind of filter mechanism themselves as well. It's a way that they raise funds in order to put the infrastructure for it to happen. So what do I like about Kusama Starter? First of all, I like their positioning. Do you realize that most everything coming to Polkadot will come through Kusama first? So essentially, if you think about where it's positioned as a company, if they are become, and I think they're the first launchpad for Kusama, if they become the premier launchpad for Kusama, let's look at how the premier launchpad for Cardano has done. What was the ICO price on that? It was a matter of cents, right? And let's look at that. That is cards. And so card starter, it hit 380 on Coin Gecko. And let's just look at where it's been all the way up to $80. And I know when it launched, it was at, you could still buy it at a price of right around $4. It was a little bit less in the 3 range, even though it's not showing it here. And so it went tremendous. So Kusama Starter, where could this go? Really, really well. Now, Cardano is one of the projects I'm most bullish on. I love it, but I don't only I'm not tribal in that I jump behind just one thing. I'm an investor. I spread my gains and my risk out among other projects. You never know what happens. I mean, what would happen if Charles Hoskinson got struck by lightning or whatever, freak plane accident or something crazy? And I pray that that doesn't happen. Literally, Cardano is my largest holding, not only for that, but I think he's bringing so much good to the world. But I think Polkadot and their ecosystem is also brilliant. And they created Kusama as kind of the canary chain, or you're probably familiar with this story, but coal miners, they couldn't detect if the oxygen levels were dropping low. What would happen is they would fall asleep and they would end up dying in these mines. So they would bring canaries in there, and canaries, they would keep an eye on the canary. And if the canary fell over, then they knew they were next and they would get out of the coal mine. And so they call Kusama like the canary chain. In other words, it's the test chain for Polkadot that most of the projects will come on Kusama first before migrating to Polkadot. So if you think about Kusama Starter, it's really the place for some of the best Polkadot projects to come out through. So their positioning could not be better. Another thing that I like about Kusama Starter is the team here. Now, Saiwan Kim, the co-founder and CSO, he's been developing on this language for 3 years. In fact, reading from somebody I know that knows him, he was a core team member of the first ever parachain project on Polkadot. So he's been developing on parachains for 3 years. So he's highly technically skilled, and he is the right person to be on this team to help projects launch successfully on Kusama, and knows the ecosystem super well. Now, how does it work? Well, you can see here that if you hold this number of tokens, so you have to have 100 KST. In this one, you got to have 3,500 KST. So tier 1 Dove, a lot of requirements. I guess there's some tasks. Pool weight is one. Guaranteed allocation, no. But by the time you get to this Raven tier where you hold 3,500 Kusama Starter tokens, you don't have the ability to auto invest. We'll talk about that in just a second, what that is. But pool weight 10, guaranteed allocation, yes. Okay. Staking requirements for the Hawk is 8,500 Kusama Starter tokens. Pool weight 50, guaranteed allocation, yes. Now, Eagles, what this auto invest is that you can stake USDT in there, and so that it will automatically pull that out for the allocations. So that's really cool. You do have to have at least the Eagle to get the Eagle qualify for the Eagle Bird, I guess the tier 4, in order for that to be possible. So you'd need to accumulate 17,000 KST. Now, I don't know what the pre-sale price on this is, and I especially don't know what the price is going to be once it hits the market. When I get involved in a Launchpad, one of the things I'm shortest on is time. So I usually buy enough so that I can be in the higher tiers, so that I don't have to spend lots of time worrying about things. So 25,500 Kusama Starter tokens, pool weight of 250, guaranteed allocation, yes. Auto invest, yes. So the auto invest is really cool. Let's see. Maybe it doesn't describe it here. Let's see. Where was I reading on it? Here is their Twitter, by the way, at KSM Starter. So actually, I didn't see that my notifications aren't turned on. Absolutely, I want to hear everything on this one as it comes closer. Highly interested in this. Here's the tokenomics, so you can look through them on your own. The advisors. Well, so let me share with you what my friend was telling me about the auto invest. So essentially you can stake the Kusama or some USDT, so it automatically pulls that out as projects launch on it. Now, deciding what launches on it, what will happen is the team will submit a proposal of a project that wants to launch on Kusama Starter, and you can vote. You can vote by staking your tokens towards that, and that's your vote. And so if projects don't get enough votes through people staking towards that, then if it doesn't qualify for that minimum threshold, it will get rejected. And so I think they're doing some very cool things with this. Launchpads are not new. This is just the first one really for the Kusama ecosystem, which has my attention. We all have seen what Card Starter did. And so they've actually learned a lot of lessons of what a lot of the other Launchpads did well and what worked and what didn't work, and have rolled that into Kusama Starter. So honestly, this is one of the projects that has my attention coming up, that I'm most interested in. So as I continue to get more details, I will be bringing those to you. So I did just want to share with you one thing. The market is in the tank right now. It can be frustrating. If you're following some of these rules, you're positioned well. One of the rules is don't leverage buy. And so don't sell your car or sell your house and get a mortgage in order to buy more. It puts you in a place where when it retraces like this, and this happens, that you actually could get burned and you could end up losing a ton. What I share with people is never invest more than you can afford to lose, and it puts you in a comfortable place. Not only so if these pullbacks happen, it doesn't cripple you, but it allows you to sleep at night. And if you're not sleeping at night, the stress can literally kill you. So don't put yourself in that position. Number two, I don't day trade. There's a couple of reasons I don't day trade. You can lose money in the middle of a bull market because essentially you're usually leverage trading, or even if you're day trading spot, the reason I don't do that so much is my hair is thin enough. Imagine, I've tried day trading before, and the amount of stress that it causes is so high that I don't need to lose the rest of my hair. I like what I got. I'm happy. It seems to be staying as long as I'm not causing massive amounts of stress. Why? Because, the truth is most of the traders that trade all the time, they don't necessarily make more than I do swing trading, and I have far less stress. In fact, one of the best traders I know, we talked about returns over the past year, and he's one of the best traders that I know, and my returns have far exceeded his returns on a percentage basis. And so why go through that kind of stress every day when you can just learn how to identify good buys, what kind of time frame you want to hold them for, whether it's a couple weeks, couple months, 6 months, 9 months. Or even years, and buy those, be able to sleep at night, not have to set all kinds of alarms that wake you up to exit a trade, or all these stop losses. That's why I'm in swing trading. I realize there's money to be made in these other areas, and you can even make money as the market tanks by shorting. I choose not to do that because I found for me, I like this area the best. I don't like the stress. I don't have to watch the market every day. I can actually forget about it for days or weeks on end, and it's fine. It just works well for me. I like living a good life, and so why, even if you make lots of money, if you can't enjoy life, then what value has making all the money brought to you except a few more options? But if you're stressed all the time, terrible place to be. So I do suggest you do go to Kusama Starter here and follow them. I'm going to be following them. If you haven't joined my Telegram, join there. I do pop in there and talk to you all in there. And I've got a very good moderator that keeps tabs on everything and tries to kick out the scammers that jump in there and they try to get you to call some WhatsApp. Also on this YouTube video, you'll probably get hit up by some scammer that's like pretends to be me and asks you to call WhatsApp. Do realize that because there's money here, there's also a lot of scammers trying to take your money. So watch for that. You shouldn't be needing, I don't need your money. I'm not going to ask you to invest with me and send me your funds to invest for you. It's not going to happen like that. With that said, too, none of this is financial advice. I'm just an investor like you. I have been investing for a long time in my life. I've been in crypto for only 4 years. It's not all that long, but I'm sharing with you the lessons that I've learned. Now, YouTube, hopefully, I'm continuing to learn and make things better and improve the sound quality and the video quality. I'll continue to grow there, but that's not my background. My background is identifying solid investments. That's what I've been doing for a long time. And I'm just sharing with you why I'm making the investments I'm making, because I don't know whether they fit for your portfolio. You'll have to continue to do your own research on that. Don't just take my thoughts on something, get 100 different opinions, then form your own. And that's the best way to learn to become good yourself. I'm not here to give people fish. I'm here to show other people what I'm doing to fish and why it has such good results for me. All right, I'm going to share with you the full song at the request of some of you guys that wanted me to play the full Rainmakers song. So I'll let it go the whole time. I just try to keep the videos shorter lately. Instead of longer videos, just more shorter videos. So thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, Rainmakers, let's make this happen.